I had been waiting all week for my brand new sneakers to arrive. And these weren't just any sneakers. They were the kind you save up for, the kind that make you feel like you're walking on a runway every time you step outside. Limited edition, sleek design, and rare enough to make heads turn. Delivery day finally came, but like always, I was stuck at work. No big deal, I thought. Packages always got dropped neatly on my porch, sometimes tucked to the side, but always safe. I kept refreshing my phone like a kid on Christmas morning, and then finally, the notification appeared. Package delivered at your front door. Relief washed over me. But when I pulled into my driveway later that day, something felt off. My porch looked too clean, too empty. I hurried up the steps, checking behind the chair, near the mat, even the bushes. Nothing. I pulled out my phone, opened the delivery email, and there it was. Proof. A timestamp and a photo of my sneakers sitting proudly on my porch. They had been delivered, but now they were gone. My heart sank. Someone had swiped them. Frustration boiled into anger. I called the delivery company hoping for help. Instead, they shrugged it off. Sorry for the inconvenience, they said. Their driver had done his job. The proof was in the photo. They washed their hands clean of it. That's when it hit me. This wasn't some random porch pirate passing through. No, this had to be someone nearby, someone watching, someone who knew when I wasn't home. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for more HOA drama. At first, I told myself it was a one-time thing, maybe just bad luck. But weeks later, my nephew's birthday was coming up. I ordered him a set of action figures he'd been begging for. Bright, colorful, special. Delivery day came again. Same story. I was at work, refreshing my phone, waiting for that notification. Package delivered at your front door. When I got home, the porch was bare. Not even a scrap of tape left behind. This wasn't random anymore. This was deliberate. Someone was stalking my deliveries and swooping in like a vulture. My stomach twisted with anger. It wasn't just about packages anymore. It was about principle. If I let this continue, what else could they take? 2 days later, I decided enough was enough. Time to involve the HOA president, Karen. She was always bragging about keeping the neighborhood safe and orderly. If anyone could help, it should be her. So I knocked on her door. Karen answered with her usual permanent frown, the kind of face that made you think she smelled something rotten. I explained my situation. 2 packages stolen, both confirmed delivered. Could the HOA review cameras? Maybe send a warning to the neighborhood? She nodded, pretended to care, but her eyes darted like she had better things to do. Then it happened. Her teenage son strolled into the living room, and my jaw nearly hit the floor. On his feet, bold as daylight, were my sneakers. The exact limited edition pair that never even made it into my house. My chest tightened. I wanted to shout, to accuse, but I bit my tongue. Without proof, I'd look like a fool. Still, deep down, I knew. I was staring at the thief's family. I walked away, furious but determined. If I was going to catch them, I'd need evidence. So I bought cameras, not the bulky, obvious kind. Tiny, discreet, almost invisible. I tucked them under the trim of my porch, disguised them in the plants, made sure no one would notice. Then, I set the bait. I ordered something cheap, a phone charger and headphones. Nothing valuable, but enough to tempt a thief. I waited. The package arrived. Hours passed. And then, movement. On the screen, walking casually up my porch, wasn't her son. It wasn't a stranger. It was Karen herself. The HOA president, the same woman who nodded with fake sympathy while I told her about theft, was caught red-handed on my cameras. She picked up my package, tucked it under her arm, and strutted back to her house like she owned the world. I replayed the footage over and over, disbelief mixing with rage. She wasn't just covering for her son. She was the thief all along. My anger burned, but so did an idea. Reporting her would be too easy, too clean. No, if Karen wanted to play dirty, I'd play nuclear. So I built a trap. I ordered harmless components one by one: a spring loader, glitter powder, stink spray, and neon dye. I spent hours in my garage rigging them inside a cardboard box. When I was done, it looked like a regular delivery. Amazon tape, junk for weight, it was perfect. The next day, I placed it on my porch in plain sight and waited. Hours later, there she was. Karen strutted across my lawn, scanning for witnesses, and scooped up the box. She had no idea. Minutes later, my cameras caught the moment of glory. Karen ripped open the box and boom! A spring-loaded mechanism exploded with a loud pop, blasting glitter into her face like a confetti cannon. Before she could react, a wave of industrial stink spray burst out, filling the air with the stench of rotten eggs and vinegar. She gagged, stumbling back. Then came the dye, a neon green liquid that splattered across her face and hands, staining everything it touched. Karen shrieked, flailing like a cartoon villain. She looked less like an HOA president and more like a radioactive disco ball. I laughed so hard at my desk watching the footage that I nearly fell out of my chair. By the time I got home, half the neighborhood had gathered outside. Phones out, recording, laughing. Karen was desperately scrubbing herself with a garden hose, but the dye wouldn't budge. The stink clung to her like a curse, and glitter sparkled with every move she made. That night, I clipped the footage and sent it straight to the HOA board with a polite note. Here's your president keeping the neighborhood safe. At the next HOA meeting, she was finished. The board confronted her with undeniable evidence. She was forced to pay me double the value of every stolen package. And worst of all, for her, she was stripped permanently of her presidency. And the best part? Even weeks later, the dye hadn't fully washed off. She sat at the meeting glowing like a neon clown, humiliated beyond repair. The end. So what do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns.